Hello, welcome to another segment of Your Right to Know, Our Pleasure to Tell. I am Malika Moffat. Over the last few weeks, we've been having some serious discussions with members from the United Progressive Party government highlighting the achievements over the last 10 years. June 12th is soon upon us, and sitting with me today is Honorable Elston Adams, and he is representing St. Paul's. And today our conversation must be interesting. Good afternoon, Mr. Adams. Welcome to our program.
Good afternoon, Miss Moffat, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
And I do hope that we'll have a very interesting conversation. Of course, it's wonderful sitting here with you.
Thank you so much. Look forward to it. You know, for many at home listening, they know you as Nambalala. You know, what does that name mean? And tell us a little bit more about you, Mr. Adams.
Well, Nambulumbu Nambalala.
Nambalumbu.
Many people get it incorrectly. And so it is Nambulumbu Nambalala.
Nambalala.
And as a creative individual, you have Nam on each side. So that is peace,
Okay.
love, and happiness. That's what the name, I put the meaning to it. That's
Okay.
what it means to me.
Okay.
And I want everybody to know that it means peace, love, and happiness. Nam, bu, lumbu, namba, la, la. You know, as a child, you know, when you have a baby, you're rocking the baby. La, 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 la,
Yeah, la, la, my
you're rocking the
baby.
right?
Yeah. That's
So
kind
it's
of
peace,
nice.
love, and happiness. Namba is Nigerian. You know.
Very, very nice. For those at home also listening and viewing, tell us a little bit more about you, Mr. Adams, and a little bit about your education and, you know, how you grew up.
Well, I'm from a small family, a poor family. I grew up in Liberta, in a place they call Buxan.
Boxon.
Buxan.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm well supported in that area. I'm from a small family, as I said. My mother, Viola Adams, and father, William Adams. Well, my father lives in England for quite some time, and my mother, she resides in the Virgin Islands. And there are 7 of us. I'm the 4th of the 7th.
Okay.
And I attended the Liberta Primary School, and then on to All Saints Secondary, and then on to State College. And I've also studied in Jamaica
Okay.
at the Edna Manley Cultural Center.
Okay.
And that's basically it. Of course, I've done a number of courses in different areas. And that's basically it, I would like to say at this point in time.
Okay. From your name, from the way you carry yourself, as in your dressing, culture is your thing. Tell me the depths of culture and what it means to you.
Well, culture, as I say, is a way of life. As far as I'm concerned, it's a way of life. Everything that one does, it hinges on culture. The things you eat, the clothes you wear, your gestures, your language or languages, whatever, your hairstyle, the shoes, your clothes, it's just everything.
Yeah.
It's a way of life. Your traditional culture, you know, you name it. And culture is just about we as human beings.
Okay. Mr. Adams, you've been in the political arena for a number of years. What are some of the challenges you experience, and what are the best parts of it that you enjoy?
Well, politics is very challenging. I entered politics because at the time it was, and many people were shying away from politics. They were afraid of the Antigua Labour Party, and because of what happened after the 1971 general elections, 1976 general elections, because the PLM took office in 1971 to 76, and they were defeated at the polls in 76. And there was a hunt on for those who were part of the PLM administration.
Okay.
So many people fled, many families were destroyed, many businesses were also destroyed, because if you were not a supporter of the Antigua Labour Party, well, couple smoke a pipe.
Are you serious?
And yes, it was a fearful period, as I said. And so many people, they crossed over. So to get that peace, that tranquility, they shifted their position. And many people were afraid to even participate in the general elections, because it was said that once you go to vote,
Yes.
then the Anti-Labour Party, the government then would know who you voted for. And once they recognize who you vote for, then hell would be loose on you. And it was not a good thing at that point in time.
Yes.
So it was almost like a one-party situation from 76 until the United Progressive Party came to power.
Okay.
But as a popular individual playing cricket, I was one of the top writers in the country at the time.
Okay.
I'm a playwright, poet,
Yes.
performer. Performing in all areas with calypsonians, with teenage contestants, queens, just about everybody I performed with at the national level and also in my community. Writing, as I said, skits, writing plays, directing, acting, producing my own work. And so I became a national figure.
Yes.
And it came a point that, as I said, the people who really could make an influence and have an impact on our society,
Yes.
they were afraid. They were afraid of losing their families. They were afraid of losing their businesses.
Yes.
And people were entering and losing. So there came a time that you hardly had the quality people
Yes.
who wanted to participate in general elections because they were afraid of their own safety. They were afraid of losing, as I said, their families and friends and businesses. And I said to myself, because at that time you had Leonard Tim Hector, the late Leonard Tim Hector.
Yes.
He was one of the persons who was basically fearless. And he wrote in the outlet for many years. And he was carrying the story, behind the stories, inside information that was going on in the Anti-Labour Party. He was the fly on the wall.
Yes.
And so people were clamoring for information. So he stood out. But as I said, there were many Antiguans, qualified Antiguans who were afraid. And there came a point that I said, no, this country needs some people to stand up and fight. And I decided, look, since others were afraid and running away from the task of representing the people of this country, fighting for and on their behalf,
Yes.
I decided that I would throw my hat in the ring.
Yes.
Mark you, I knew perfectly well that I would not have won that election that very first year.
Yes.
I knew that.
Yes.
But I was making a statement that I was willing to sacrifice myself, willing to sacrifice my job because I'm a teacher by profession.
Yes.
Sacrifice everything so that I could be somebody that others could emulate. And I decided to enter. People were saying, you're crazy, you're stupid, how would you give up your job?
Yes.
They said all sorts of things would happen to me. But I was certain I wanted to make a statement to the rest of the country and to all those who were afraid.
Yes.
And as I said, I threw my hat in the ring. And they asked me to resign as a teacher because, as I said, I was a teacher by profession.
Yes.
I refused to resign.
Are you
I
serious?
decided I'm not going to resign. It is my democratic right to represent this country and to fight for and on behalf of the people. And eventually, they dismissed me. After working for about 19 or so years in the teaching profession, I was dismissed from my job with nothing to do. But as I said, that was the price I was willing to pay.
Yes.
At that time, at that 1994 general elections, I did better than any other person had done in St. Paul's constituency,
Yes.
opposing the VC Byrd administration. And that was very indicative of what was to come. I lost, and I was the first person out to thank all the persons who participated in the 1994 general elections.
Yes.
I was the first out. I was out even before Dr. Rodney Williams because he was the opponent at that time. A man
Okay.
I respected. And so I came out the block, as I said, and thanked the people for those, not just those who voted for me, but also those who voted against me. Because we were, at least I was, as I said, making a statement. We were protecting our democracy.
Yes.
And that's what I did. And so that was behind me. I got into some little business and was out there. And then again in the next election, I think it was the 1999 general elections again, I entered. But I must say here that because I did that well, the Antigua Labour Party, very astute politicians, they are very a group that, I mean, they know all the bad tricks, all the tricks in the book when it comes to elections. And they recognized that I got close enough. So they brought in people from outside the constituency and from abroad to register in St. Paul. And when the 1999 general elections was held, again, I got within striking distance.
Yes.
But I lost. Again, I was out thanking the people for participating in the general elections, thanking those who voted for me and those who opposed me. But you could see that there was a trend that I was into after the first and the second general elections. Again, you could see that I was getting within striking distance. And I decided, I was determined not to give up. Of course, I had cleared all the Cassie bush. I had cleared many things away. So, and it was not fashionable for people to represent the opposition then.
Yes.
Because, as I said, I entered not because I wanted to, because others were afraid. Of course, my opponent, Chet Green, is my present opponent. I taught him in school. And he was, there was a primary, and the party was not satisfied with the result.
Yes.
Because they wanted more people to enter. And they decided that they should have over that primary. And I was in the classroom when the message came. An envoy came to me at Liberty School where I was teaching. And I was told that the United Progressive Party wanted me to participate in a primary. The truth is, I don't think they wanted Mr. Green. They felt that he had too many baggages. They have heard about too many corrupt practices.
Yes.
And the United Progressive Party, as we see today, still did not want him. And so I was asked, given 2 weeks to register some people.
Yes.
While he had about 4 or 6 weeks before, more than that he had before. And in 2 weeks' time, I whipped him in the primary. And he changed over and he went to Antigua Labour Party. But that was a welcoming thing to the United Progressive Party because, as I said, they felt that he was not the type of individual that they were looking for.
Yes.
There were too many things about this young man, and they wanted to have a fresh start with men and women who could look people in the eyes, voters in the eyes, and said, we stand for this.
Yes.
We stand for that.
Yes.
And I was the individual chosen. So as I said, I got in striking distance with Dr. Rodney Williams. And in the 2004 general elections, his family and other residents advised him not to participate again because the writing was on the wall. Adams was a determined individual, slick. Of course, I'm very slick, much slicker than people think.
Yes,
much more slick than people give me credit for. Because I've learned a number of things from Dr. Rodney Williams. He's a smart man.
Yes.
And it's a joy to talk about him because when I used to go campaigning house to house, every house I entered in the afternoon, by 7, 8 o'clock, Dr. Rodney Williams was in the houses.
Okay.
He was giving them sick leave paper because that was one of the things I heard.
Yes.
He was giving just about everything. But the mistake he made, at least one of the mistakes he made, was to tell the people of St. Paul that the Antigua Labour Party did not like him, that Lester Bird them don't like him. The people's response was, if they don't like you, why are you running on their ticket then? Then we're not going to get anything done in this area, so I don't think that his own friends were telling him, well, we're not going to vote for you.
Yes.
So it was clear, because one knows when he's losing. Generally speaking, most of the times, you know when you're losing an election. There are times it kind of fudgy and you don't know, but many times, especially when you're coming in, you would know if you're losing or you're winning. And he lost, and that was tremendous celebration in the area, because I've worked with many people as a dramatist, as a writer, somebody involved in um, the culture of the country. I was also a sportsman, played cricket and football. I was an athlete, was the fastest one in the community. I've done so many things, you know. And as I said, I was a teacher by profession. And so, just like the Prime Minister, he was involved in so many things. As I said, I played cricket for the Liberty team. I captained the school team in cricket and football. When I went to Alsen Secondary, I did the same thing. I captained Liberty Village in cricket at the first class level. I was an opening batsman. I was an opening bowler. I was a spinner. I did so many things, you know. And I was a top writer in this country.
Yes.
One of the top performers, one of the top directors. Just about everything I participated in. I had people like Eldine Baptist. He was a performer. I was a captain for the 10th Antigua Boys Brigade Company. I was assistant treasurer in the Antigua Union of Teachers. And it goes on and on. So my leadership role, at least I played my leadership, what we were just saying, I stood out as a leader in the community over the years, in school and in the community. So it didn't just start when I entered politics. It started long ago as a young man growing up in the community. It was seen, it was spotted. Even so much so that after the Antigua Labour Party we gained power in, I think, when the PLM got power in 1971 to 76, they invited me to become part of a youth group. And I was high up in the youth group. And after a time, I decided to leave because I see that people were struggling for power. And I was not about struggling for power. My life was about serving.
Yes.
And has always been about serving the people. I was never interested in politics. And that is why it was easy for me to sacrifice my job as a teacher, to work for and on behalf of the people. It's not about money, as I often hear people say, oh, they're going in for the money. And when they say these things, it hurts me because, as I said, when I entered, I knew I was going to win. But I worked hard till the cassetry. And when I started, I had about 4 or 5 guys. These guys, some of them I taught in school, but they were not the, let's say, they were just the ordinary children in primary school. And by this time I entered politics, some of them were on drugs and these other things. One of them became a police officer. That was before he got involved in politics with me and the campaign team. He was a police officer. He died recently. Okay. And I must say that these guys, because people, as I said, it was not fashionable at the time. So it was difficult to get people to stand behind you or beside you on the campaign trail. Yes. But these 4 or 5 guys, they were there carrying out the posters. Even when I was not there, sticking them on churches and people's home, in places sometimes where they should not and ought not to put them. And I got in a lot of problems with them because of what they were doing. And that is one of the reasons why I have stood with these guys. They have grown much more, but some of them are still on the same side. Yes. You know, there are some people you can't change them, but they remain loyal and faithful to me. Yes. And I respect them, and I will still give them a little cash here and there, and try to encourage them. And there's at least 2 of them. They're not looking for money of such. One of them, when I remember, Ira Michael. When after I won, I said, "What can I give?" He said, "I don't want no money from you. I don't. It's okay." And from 1994, even before 1994 to now, he's still there, still supporting. There's another one they call Marley. Sometimes they pick him up off the street almost every election and carry him to the polling booth. And they cannot get him to switch up to now. Although he's not one of the persons who is just normal. Of course, you'll see him on the street walking about and so on. But they remain. And I'm saying, if these guys can remain faithful, you can't pay them off. How come people who are so intelligent and they are in control of their faculties, how they shift and take so many things from people, you know? So I say it is up to the individual People do
know,
what they want to do.
when we were talking earlier, we spoke a lot about culture, and then you went into history because the two tied together, culture and history. For those who are looking at home, the young children, excuse me, the young children that are home viewing and listening to our conversation right now, how would you tie in the importance of exercising your right on June 12th with the culture of Antigua and Barbuda?
I think that I always respect the right of every individual to make his or her choice. And that's what democracy is about. It's not about who is the most intelligent, because some people want to say that you shouldn't enter, this should not enter. And
Yes.
I think it's the right, according to the democratic practices, that whoever you are and you feel you want to contribute or you feel you want to enter, they have a right to enter the competition. And so I would encourage every person to participate. I have a slang that I use when people say they're not voting. I say, whether you vote or not, at the end of the day, somebody will be elected to run the affairs of this country.
Yes.
So if you're vexed with me or you're vexed with somebody else, at the end of the day, somebody will be in charge.
Yes.
So it is up to you as voters to get involved and make your choice, make your decision. One should not be afraid to make a decision. The only way you should be afraid is if you're going against your conscience.
Yes.
Vote your conscience, do what is right, and that is what I will encourage every individual. There are people who have died trying to get this right to vote in a general elections.
Yes.
Why are we throwing it away? Why are we selling votes? Because that happens, big time.
I've heard
And
so many other things
let
too.
me tell you,
That's just the
people
tip of
are
it.
buying
Yes.
voting cards, paying for these things, because they know that people are vulnerable, they want things. Of course, some people they're in need, yes.
Yes.
But I hate to see intelligent people go down that road.
But then it's not only the fact of being in need. It's very vital for us to understand that you have to be careful where your money comes from.
Definitely.
You have to be very, very careful where your money comes from.
And I can say clearly that if money was the one, let me say, the only thing that could win an election, I would not have been elected twice, because I didn't have money of such to run the type of campaign that I've seen some people have run.
Yes.
But it is because people recognize that I am truly the type of servant they would like to see. Somebody who is honest and committed and dedicated to what he's about to do on behalf of the people. And that is why I was elected. Not because of money. I can say that. But that is not to say money does not play a big role, because our country is so small that one individual can buy up the whole constituency. When you see the number of electors you have in a constituency. For example, you might have one that it has about 1,200 people. So 1,200 people, how much money you can give that each person on that voters list?
Yes.
So it easily one can do that. And therefore, that is one of the reasons why we have to talk to the people, to let them know what is at stake.
Yes.
Talk to their consciences, speak to it from time to time, and hope that at the end of the day, the message will resonate and that they will do the right thing.
True. You're on the ticket, the United Progressive Party ticket for 2014 elections. It's coming very soon. June 12th is that date. What are some of the things that you're doing right now in your constituency, St. Paul's, to ensure that once again you are elected to represent that constituency?
Well, the thing that one has to do is to, again, take the message to the people. And the message does not have to come from the candidate. It comes from the party. It comes from people within the community and people outside of the community. Because it's one big workshop going on right now in Antigua and Barbuda. And you have people trying to communicate with people, not only within their own environment, but also outside of their own environment.
Yes.
Because everybody has a stake in the general elections, what happens in this country.
Yes.
And so we are using every available method or strategy are available, that is available to us. You're using yourself, you're using your family, you're using
Yes.
friends,
Yes.
you're losing everybody in the society, as I said. There are those who will come out and be on a team
Yes.
and go from house to house. There are those who will never come on and show themselves.
That they support.
They will remain in the background, and those are the ones that have worked very vigorously for me over the years.
Yes.
Those in the background, you don't see them ever wear a T-shirt or wear any of the
Some
paraphernalia.
emblem. Yes. Yes. Yes.
But they're there because they're working in the interest of this country.
Yes.
And they want to see that the best individuals are elected. Now, if you have a thief, for example, and a person who likes to take things that are not his or hers, and in government, if you do it in your private life, fine, that is bad enough. When it's a private life, you're
Yes.
working with people and taking
Yes.
from them. But those kind of individuals one should never elect, because when you get in government, there are so many opportunities available.
Yes.
Many opportunities. People come at you
And you'll be
regularly.
even more tempted.
Right.
Yes.
And
yes.
so if you have people who are weak and like to take things that are not theirs, of course, when the opportunities avail themselves, then you will be quick to grab at them. And that is why we need strong men and women in government.
Yes.
Because if we take from the people's purse, those money that people try to hoard in their bank book and different parts, in different areas, in different countries,
Yes.
then monies that should go towards education and health and infrastructure, those monies will not be available.
True.
And that is why it's so important that we have honest men and women in politics. And that is what we need to do. And as I said, we need to go around, we need to talk to the people,
Yes.
we need to use whatever we have to use, whether the paraphernalias, the billboards, the leaflets,
Yes.
you name it, you have to. We are using all those things, but some people they indulge in lots of lies and innuendos, and they normally go at the unsuspecting individuals. As I said, some will use money, hard-earned cash that they will get from somebody to give to those individuals, because at the end of the day, these individuals, some of them, most of them, they know what they want at the end of the journey.
You know, Honorable Elston Adams, you've been in the political, excuse me again, you've been in the political arena for a number of years. Compared to all the other elections, to 2014 elections, what is your view thus far with the campaign, how it's been running, your opposition, the opposing side? How do you evaluate the past 2 or the past 3 elections to
Well,
this
let
one?
me say, one of the things I recognize on the Lester Bird, and I don't think I was there for VEC, but let me say, what I'm noticing now, before time, in those years, 1994 and 1999,
Yes.
those elections, I find that it was not, people were more friendly
Okay.
in terms of that, going out and campaigning. You could have there was the fun, the excitement, although you want to change. What I'm seeing, an element of violence coming into our camp in this election.
Yes.
And with Rodney, I can speak for my area with Dr. Rodney Williams. I never used to see people tearing down paraphernalia, cutting posters
Yes.
and these sort of things. If it was done, it was so minimal that it was that
Not
you
even
don't
noticed,
even want to
yeah.
comment on it.
Yes, yes.
I didn't see that Dr. Williams tried to engage young men and others in a way that it would, in a threatening way,
Yes.
and have them at the side of the roads and threatening people, and these sort of things. With the invent of my opponent, it's totally different this time around. The last election, there were some skirmishes at the corner.
Yes.
And you could see, and I've been told by individuals who were closely with my opponent,
Yes.
that they have been paid. They have been paid And I know one guy, he's dead now. He was beaten on one night going home. And I guess that was done to drive some fear in his heart. He was electrocuted. And I know the same guy that died, ex-police officer, he was beaten and his hand was broken last election.
Okay.
And this time around, he was taken to do a certain piece of kind of work about 2 weeks before he died. And when I was coming from Piccadilly, where I live,
Yes.
he told me that he was begging a ride and said that he was left down there. They took him down there to clean, and now they didn't give him any ride. He was left down there, and he was beaten. I'm not saying that caused his death really, but he was beaten. He got a few cuts on his foot and this other thing. Yeah. I'm just saying that nowadays you find such a situation, and even more so today, this campaign this year. Last year was bad.
Yes.
This year is far worse. And we have to restrain ourselves, because I enjoy, let me tell you, I like the banter. I enjoy it. I like elections. And I'm going to enjoy I have enjoyed the campaign thus far.
Yes.
Because if you don't want to lose, don't enter. Because you either win or you lose.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, the country must continue. We must do the things in the interest of this country. I will not do any and everything to win an election. Yes. And I don't want any unfair advantage in any elections. I think that is wrong.
Yes.
We need to do things and put legislation in place so that we will have free and fair elections.
You know, talking about free and fair elections and mentioning the gentleman that might have been electrocuted and the others.
No, he would not.
He was.
Not because of politics. I'm
No.
just saying.
But I understand that. But I was making reference to a few other information that we've been given, even myself, with individuals during election time that mysteriously died and mysteriously disappeared because of their decision. And to think that that happened maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and now in 2014, you say it's bad now. Do you think that it's worse compared from then to now? Or do you think that we're on a level of understanding that every individual has a right to vote and to exercise that democratic right?
You see, I strongly believe, maybe some people believe the stakes are so high, they must win at all costs. If they don't win, their lives will go down the drain.
Yes.
And so they hinge everything on this one opportunity that they must win. If they don't win it, then they will not be able to pay their bills and these other things.
Yes.
And so they will do any and everything to ensure that they're victorious at the poll.
Yes.
And that is wrong. As I said, this is Antigua, it's a small country. And if you don't want to lose, don't enter. And I will not, on the life of me, encourage anyone to go out and do negative things.
Yes.
So that I will win. I do not believe in it. I really do not believe in it.
You know.
I want at the end of the day, we can look at each other and smile and say, boy, you really whipped me this time. You really put a licking on me. And enjoy it.
Yes.
And that is what I want to see. I like people play the politics hard. Because you don't have to be unfair to play it hard. You can be smart. I like the strategies. I believe in those things.
Yes.
You want to race to see who first can put out the paraphernalia. You want to beat the man to the punch.
Yes.
You want to get the best
Yes.
spots and these other things. That's what I like. You want to outwit somebody. I like these things. To me, it's fun. It's theater at its best.
Yes.
Because that's what election is now. It's theater at its best. And we all must enjoy it. Of course, politics is serious business.
Yes.
It's serious, but although it's serious business and the campaign trail,
Yes.
you must enjoy it. Not hating people and threatening people because they appear that they will vote for the other side.
Yes.
No, we must not hate each people because they determine that this party is better. It's an argument. It's a conversation. And who can win them with the conversation that you're having? Fair enough.
Yes.
And of course, it's a journey.
And with that conversation, speaking truth too.
Truth.
That's the most
and I believe
important.
in that. I'm not a politician. Sometimes I say maybe I'm not a politician because I just can't get to lie.
Yes.
And I don't believe in those frivolous conversations and so on and lying to people. I can't.
Yes.
I think it's wrong. Don't mislead. I prefer just to keep silent and don't say a thing. Rather than trying to fool individuals and so on. I just, maybe I'm not cut out for the politics.
Well, you've been doing quite well thus far, so
Well,
you know.
yes, I have been doing well because you see, people feel comfortable with me, generally speaking. I try not to say the things that will hurt people. If I'm angry, sometimes I will just walk away. And if you push me, I say, no, don't do that. Just wait until you cool down a bit and so on.
Yes.
But I'm not going to beat up on individuals. Oh, you can't vote for me. I do this for you. If you are elected, if people have represented you, elect you to serve, and they decide they're going to vote for somebody else, that's their right.
Yes.
That's their right. If they feel I'm not the better person, that's their right to do whatever they want to do. And even if I have done the best that anybody could ever do, and they decide to vote against me, that is still their right.
Yes.
So to do. So people have a right, and that's what I want to tell people. They all have a right. And
Exercise
nobody
that
must be
right.
afraid to make a decision.
Yes.
One way or the other, one must not be afraid to make a decision.
Decision.
But I would urge them to make a decision in the best interest of the country.
Yes.
And in the best interest of, as I said, yes, this country. Because at times you can make a decision in our personal interests. Like some people don't want to pay taxes.
Yes.
But I believe those who make more should pay more.
Yes.
I believe in that. Because not everybody will become a professional, will become highly qualified. Not everybody will become that.
Yes.
But everybody must live. And a way must be provided for them to make a living, a worthwhile living.
Yes.
And that's the way I see life. Do the right things for all that you can. Nobody can push me to go and do bad things so I can give them. I don't believe in that either.
Yes.
I will only give that which I have. There are people who believe that you must go and beg everybody and solicit. I'm not good at that either. And so I will. There are times I don't have, but I don't want to go around and pushing everybody, because so many times because you go out and solicit, people feel like they own you.
Yes.
And I don't want to be owned by anybody.
There's an obligation
Right.
there, yes.
Some people believe that you don't come by me. I believe that, yes, you must visit your constituents, visit them. But and I believe that if I'm not coming and you want me, send and say, come here, would like to see you. Because there's so many things that you need to do. There are times that the poor man in the society, he needs your help much more than those who have it.
Yes.
But I'm not saying that you must not visit the wealthy.
Yes.
You can, and you must, so that you'll know what they're thinking, how you can work, what they can do to help others.
Yes.
But the ordinary citizen, the poor people, the poorest of the poor, they need you more than anybody else. And so you will find me working with the poorest people in the society other than the wealthy people. Because I always believe that if the wealthy people want me, they will call me and say,
Yes.
come and see me.
Yes.
I need to talk to you. There's something that I have, a proposal. You need to do this. I'm open to those things. I'm open to criticisms.
Yes.
Because that is important. And I'm not afraid of people telling me exactly how they see the ball running, how the ball's swinging. Tell me, because I will listen. If I honestly believe that that's what I see too, I would yield.
Okay.
Just don't tell me do this, and give me reasons.
Yes.
I like reasons, and don't believe that they can't change me, because we all make decisions, and there are times we think that the decisions are the best decisions, but there are times you talk to others and they can help you to change that decision that you have made. But many times, many times, people believe that their decision is the decision.
Yes.
I don't believe in that. I really don't believe in that. I believe that I've been around this for a long time. I'm older than I look. I'm much older than
I'm
I
not
look.
going to ask your age.
But I've been around and I've worked with community groups for all my life. That's what I
Yes.
know. Working in communities, in sports, in culture, in church group, you name it, I've been there working
Yes.
with people all my life. That's what I know. So I've seen many things. And so when some people think that the idea is novel, it's the only idea, and you say, you listen, but then you know you have gone through that already, so you know what will be the outcome. And if you tell them, people get upset, they become angry, they become annoyed, and this sort of thing. But as I said, that I hear the cuss because people are always cursing politicians. Oh, they're stupid, they're crazy. And I often said to them, if you look at the slate that the United Progressive Party has put forward, are you suggesting to me that all those people are stupid? What people are failing to realize, what they fail to recognize is that when, for example, the cabinet makes a decision, or the prime minister makes a decision, or the MP makes a decision, at times, he is not just thinking about the people closest to him, or the people in his community, for example, Liberta, or the people just in Capscross, or the people just in Piccadilly, or English Harbour, or Falmouth, or Capscross. He's also thinking about the wider Antigua community.
Yes.
And also, when the cabinet makes a decision, he's not just thinking about the present situation. It has to look at the past situation, the present, and the future.
Yes.
The cabinet is looking at how it would, look at where they are now, and how that decision will affect past decisions.
Yes, and then
And look at the region, how it will affect
yes.
the relationship with countries around the region, and also its world perspective. So, where as a person come, oh, he's only thinking about his own self or in his own environment. But a government, in making a decision, the government has so many other factors to take into consideration.
You're responsible for Carnival Festival Office, among many other responsibilities like National Park, Independence. How has it been over the last couple of years in making that decision for Carnival to ensure that every single time Antigua is placed on the map, because Carnival, well, tourism is our main industry, and that's a very, very heavy responsibility of yours?
Well, from the time I came in, because as I said, I have a background, although I was a teacher, I'm a teacher by profession. I have this rich cultural background because that's what I know also, culture.
Yes.
So by the time I came there, I was well known throughout Antigua. I mean, and further afield in Montserrat and neighboring islands. And I've been to Jamaica to study the cultural arts, and again, I was respected there while I was studying. So when I came back home, it was much easy. When I won the elections, after being in the social transformation ministry, then I was asked to go in the area of culture, carnival, and these other things. I was not given carnival at the first, but I was responsible for culture and the cultural department. But after a few years, then I was given the portfolio.
Okay.
And it's something that many people were crying for. I should be in that area, the carnival, because I was involved in it, working with Calypsonians, as I said, and queens and teenage contestants and so over the years. But so it was easy in a sense, and not only that, you had individuals like Vaughan Walter and Annetta Flack and others who were there before.
Okay.
And so it was easy.
Yes.
Because although I was never on a CDC before, except for a short stint, that's before I became minister.
Okay.
You had, as I said, Vaughan Walter, this very energetic guy who knows carnival inside out, who is one of the best promoters, one of the best one of the best persons to market our festival.
Yes.
And Annetta Flack, they know it inside out. So it was easy to work along with them. Of course, I have my own ideas, but I listen to them. And I know that other people say that, oh, he doesn't listen. What people mean, when they say they don't listen, what they mean to me is that when you listen, and if you don't carry through what they say,
that means you didn't listen.
They didn't listen. But it is because you listen.
Yes.
And they might, that particular individual or those two individuals might believe they're the only sources, but there are other sources that you have to listen. And you, of course, you have history, and you have the present, and you have the future.
Yes.
And you have seen other things that take place abroad. And yeah, it's again the same thing. You look at all these things, where we are, what you have to work with, because that's one of the key things now, what you have to work with.
True.
And our budget has always been about $2.5 million. We don't have no great turnout at the gates. We don't have no large sponsors like in Trinidad. It's just different because...
But isn't our aim to raise the bar when it comes to carnival?
Of course, but to me, raising the bar doesn't mean that the money has to go up.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
people
True.
must become more professional in their approach. I've said that over and over.
True.
We have to train our persons culturally, train them locally, and bring in people from outside. Use your own people to train, bring in outside people to work with them.
Yes.
People going abroad, bringing people out from abroad to here, send them outside to be trained, and improve on their level, their management level. I'm happy to say that now you have more music engineers than ever before. You have more people dealing with service providers. People have been trained in terms of cultural management of events.
Yes.
And so I'm very excited that more people are going abroad to do these things and
Yes.
not just staying at home. And no, people are reading more. They, as I said, they're going into the institutions abroad to be trained.
Yes.
Others are coming to work among us and more workshops. And the way I see it, Antigua still has a bright future ahead of it culturally.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that again, we will be having a state-of-the-art cultural center in a few years' time. And I'm excited, as I said, but I have to give credit to the pioneers, those who have worked in culture
Very much
before.
so.
We have to
Yes.
big them up. The artists, Shortshot, Swallow, Abstinet, the Sirs,
The
and
Sirs.
even those before them, because it's a journey, and that journey will continue. Now we have, Calypso was a big thing, and Benna was a big thing. Now Calypso shows were bursting at the seam. It's not like that anymore. People are falling asleep in Calypso shows, but it is still important, Mark. Calypso is still important. I love Calypso more.
But then what do you think we need to do to have that revived? I mean, because it's either we don't want the culture to die, we don't want this burst of energy that comes over individuals
Calypso will never
when
die.
it's carnival,
Calypso
but it's going to sleep.
Yeah, he
Or
says
the
sleeping a
people is
little.
going to sleep.
And because you see the strong messages, there will always be need for the strong messages.
Okay.
And those people have enjoyed Calypso over the years. They're now in the 60s, their 40s, 50s, 60s. They become a little tired. They're the
Yes.
ones who are staying home. They're
Yes.
afraid of the violence and so on. So they stay at home.
Yes.
But the young people are more adventurous. They're more excited. They don't want to sit and listen. They want to they want to get
Moving,
involved. They want to get
energized.
their instruments involved. They want to sing. They want
Yes.
to dance. They want to whine. And so the Tian Winters and the Claudette Peters and I like that young group now, what they call that, Matigans. Oh, I love
Oh,
that
I
group,
love
man.
the Matigans.
The Matigans are really
Lyrical
mad
Red,
guys.
yes, they are.
But we have so many good, wonderful artists.
Yes.
So many outstanding writers. And some young guys they're engineers, they're arrangers, they are also, they create the music. And when I've been in the studio with them, let me tell you, it's a wonderful feeling. To stay outside and talk, it's one thing. But to actually get inside there and to
Yes.
watch these young guys, the excitement they go about their work with. And I'm there with them, and, the old guy, the minister. Well, in there, I said, no man, cheat me just like how you cheat anybody. When I come inside here, we rubbing shoulder in the studio. When I enter the competition, treat me like anybody else. When I come here, I'm not the minister, I'm just the same person. And so I have to say that our carnival continues to hold its own. We are having more parties because we're moving away, in a sense, from the shows as we know them. Those shows are not getting any bigger at the moment. It's the parties that the government has invested in over the years, that the private organizers of FET, they are doing tremendously well for our festival, because very early they're out there promoting their FETs. And so you would have two sets of people coming in now. Those who are coming in for stage and LOL and Red FET and all these other
But
things.
Minister Adams,
White FET.
these are, not to cut you, but these are new FETs or new initiatives. What about those individuals, even for those who are viewing and listening, that enjoy the old school, the Calypso shows, every old cultural thing that you've done or that we are accustomed doing when it comes around to Antigua Carnival? what are we doing, or what will you be doing once elected for the next 5 years to revive that instead of, because culture is the people.
Well, that's as I said, they will always be, for example, Calypso is the mother of soca, and Benno was the father, godmother of Calypso. So what we're seeing is the change.
Okay.
You see, that's what is happening.
Okay.
So you will find that, yes, there are those of us who still love our Calypso. The Serpents will still love the Calypso. But for it to live as it used to live, people have to go and support them. People have to buy the records. People have to go to the shows. People can't tell me, I love Calypso, I die for Calypso. And then when you look in the tents, nobody in them.
True.
You can one hug, not even mongoose. You can even cattle in them. So much space you have.
Yes.
So for these things, this cultural manifestation to survive, they must have the support of the people. The government, of course, but the government can't put money into something that is nobody is supporting.
True.
And so we need to go on out and support the Calypsonians if it's going to survive.
Yes.
That they were in a way and in a fashion that we want to. The soca now, more excitement, jam and wine and so forth, and the great excitement.
Yes.
You can't go to sleep when you go to these shows because everybody's involved, a huge crowd. And when you have a big crowd, more people come to the shows. When you go to Calypso, even Trinidad, the numbers are down.
And the thing is, Trinidad's carnival is the biggest. It's known internationally. People plan the year before for Trinidad's carnival.
Yes, and let me tell you, the government, again, we often talk about Trinidad and try to compare Antigua to Trinidad and so on. We will always compare, but we just do not have the financial muscles to put it on, to showcase it, to promote it as Trinidad do. And so BP may say, what money has to do with it? We can fool ourselves and say money doesn't have anything to do with it. But when a man, for example, and let us take the mass troops nowadays. Guys, I have to say this, right? Look at the mass troops. They are making a great amount of money because people want to participate in mass troops these days.
Yes.
And the organizers are doing much better. They have to organize better than before.
Yes.
And,
because the competition is
tremendous competition.
Yes.
Everybody fighting for the heart and soul of the mass players.
True, yes.
And so they come with more and more. And the businesses are supporting those mass troops and cultural practitioners who are doing better, who are pulling the masses to get together.
Okay.
And as I said, people have to start a plan real early. As I went to a function for MIST, and yes, I'm a great fan of MIST, but I'm also a great fan of the others.
Okay.
People don't have to come like MIST. They can have their own style. It doesn't make sense if you can't compare with MIST in their boardroom. Compete with them on another level.
Yes.
Right? And so people have to know what they can do from what they can do.
True.
But the mass troops are getting better organized, better management. They're offering more to the players. They're involved.
And also I think there's a new mass troop for 2014, Insane. I think, yes, because this guy
I heard about
also, yes, I think his name is Brown.
And
you sound all excited.
I'm excited about it because, you know why I'm excited? Because the people are enjoying themselves. And wherever my people are happy, I am happy.
Yes.
All I say to the people of this country, you may not like the individual. You may belong to a different church. You may worship in a different community. You may belong to a different party. One thing is common. The common denominator is Antigua is our home.
Yes.
We have to work together and make it everything that we do better. Forget about the violence. Forget about who back who. Let us continue to work together to build our festival with the little that we have.
You know, Minister Adams, as we're wrapping up our conversation today on Your Right to Know, Our Pleasure to Tell, There might be individuals at home who do not support the type of image that Carnival is presenting right now. I mean, last year there was a big thing about, I think it was sweet misbehaving was the theme last year. There are advocates who would highlight and say that the music that we put out sometimes, the things that we say and encourage in the atmosphere and in the love of Carnival, it sends a negative message to our young people, to our young women, to those that we are rearing now. What would you say to that?
I would say Carnival is a reflection of who we are.
Okay.
And I say that because I believe in it. For me, you'll always see the good, the bad, the ugly in our society because that's what human beings are. It is the individual to take away from it what is palatable, what is good, what is worthy.
Honorable Elston Adams, we've spoken so much about tourism, culture, but we didn't even speak much about St. Paul's and the work that you've been doing in the constituency of St. Paul's. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, let me say that first, I have done more in St. Paul's than the previous representatives. They were there for 30 or maybe 20 years.
Yes.
And in 10 years, I've done more than they have done. We could talk about the roads in the community. We have more roads than ever before.
Okay.
And even areas that people said no roads would ever be.
Yes.
For example, Patterson's. We have done things in Green Hill. We have done roads in Tyrrells, in some of the alleys, Mount William,
Yes.
in going up to Shirley's Heights, all over.
Okay.
But we still need more roads. And this is the area that this is an area that a lot of tourists come to, so we have to ensure that the infrastructure is good.
Yes.
We have built better bridges and these other things. When I'm responsible for the national parks, and the yachting industry is one of the most, well, it is one of the biggest industry right now. It is very resilient, and even though they have the financial difficulties, the yachts continue to come to Antigua. We have the Oyster Regatta, we have classic regatta,
Yes.
we have Sailing Week, we have the Russian Regatta, we have the 600 Regatta, so many other things.
Yes.
And those regattas bring in millions and millions of dollars, not just to St. Paul's or Dockyard, English Harbor,
Yes.
but to Antigua generally. As I said, it's the most resilient industry right now as far as I'm concerned. And it has provided hundreds of jobs to our people. And many of the people who are there, they make their living, as I said, by sailing or doing different things on the yacht.
Okay.
Vanishing and these sort of things. And the monies are paid for their children education, for their vacation, for their medical bill and these sort of things. So the yachting has done well for the area. You can talk about a number of projects that are going up. We have South Point by Jeff Hadid, that a few $1 million for that project. We have Powder Magazine development by Paul Deeth. Again, a few $1 million there, providing employment for the people. We have the Clarence House restoration.
Yes.
And we, under my leadership, we got $8 million from Peter Harrison Funds.
Okay.
And then we also had the super yacht dock because we have larger vessels, larger yachts than ever before coming to Antigua. So we have a super yacht dock now. And that is it, apart from the Falmouth Harbor Marina and the other marina in the area.
Yes.
So there's also the other projects that, as I said, are going on in the area. Quite a number of them. We have Belmondo project going on. So there's quite a number of things. And what is to come is the Galleon Beach project done by Abbott.
Okay.
And that is going to be a few $1 million. And then you also have the Rendezvous project. We have seen the concept of these projects. We have at the Dockyard already, at the national parks. So we are privy to some of the information, and somebody said it was going to be about $300 million project. So there's going to be a lot of money very shortly circulating in the area. And already, as I said, some of these projects are on the way already, providing job opportunities to our people.
Yes.
We also have the CCTV cameras because security is a big issue throughout
Yes.
Antigua and throughout the world.
Yes, very much so.
And that is top on my agenda because if we want tourists to continue to come, we have to ensure their safety.
True.
And just just like the hospital, we are about to construct a new medical facility out there, the clinic. We have the MBS has budgeted $800,000.
Okay.
We had the groundbreaking ceremony a few days ago, and so
Okay,
I'm all excited about that. What is
Yes.
taking place in there? We have just lit up the St. Paul's, Liberta Falmouth, Capscos, Piccadilly, English Harbour, Capscos, and surrounding environs. I bought a few lights before,
Okay.
but again, the government has bought a number of lights, and so Liberta, my constituency, is lit up now, and that will help to mitigate against criminal activities in the area.
Yes.
So we are really doing well, but there's much to be done still.
Yes.
All can be done in 5, 10 years,
True.
and that is why I'm asking the people for another 5 years.
Another 5 years.
And we could talk about the school meals program under my watch in the area.
Yes.
School meals at Liberta School and also at Capscos School. We have the community computer access centers in the area. School meal. We have a number of persons have gained scholarships to go abroad in Morocco, China, Cuba, and so on. We have 2 young doctors coming out. Rich Warner, he's the youngest doctor, graduated recently. So I'm excited about that.
Okay.
We also have another doctor, Kazim, I think, forgive me if I don't call the first name right, but
Yes.
he is Williams. And those are 2 young doctors. And we have others who are doing extremely well abroad right now. And so, as I said, I would like to be around in the next 10, 15, 20 years to see what St. Paul will be
Yes,
like,
yes.
especially under my watch. And the best is yet to come under
Yes.
my watch. And so I'm urging the people to look at both men. There's a vast difference between both of us. On my side, you have vision, experience, honesty, and integrity. And that is completely and far on one side, and on the other side is another person, my challenger. It is fear. You have a clear choice and a decision to make. But as I say that, there are more things that we will be doing in the area.
Yes.
I can't mention all of them at this point in time.
Yes.
But a lot of things are happening. I'm excited. And if all those things can be done in a time when the economy was not as buoyant as one would like because of the
Yes.
world economic crisis,
Yes.
now that we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, now that we are seeing things taking a different level, going upward, only you, my brothers and sisters, will be able to experience it under the watch of the United Progressive Party
Yes.
and under my watch as the MP for the area.
For St. Paul's. You know, it's always been a pleasure on Your Right to Know, our pleasure to tell. And just now when you were talking and highlighting the achievements, I saw your face lighting up for every single achievement.
Definitely, definitely. And you see, I know that so to some people, if you see some young guys or women on the side of the road, and so it's okay. If they commit a crime here, it's okay to them. My thing is not to get them arrested. My thing is to take them from that side to the other side. Not to dictate to them, but use my life as a guide to tell them, look, I come from here. Look where I am at this moment. It is because I listen to the voices of individuals who admire me.
Yes.
Individuals who saw the good in me
Yes.
and helped to change my life to make me what I am today. And I'm eternally grateful
Yes.
to the people of St. Paul's, to those teachers who have taught me over the years, and to those people who say, why you not come a thing? I thank them too for the sense what they gave me.
Yes.
And the little cough down and so on. And me little boy walking with big men and so on in the community. Big women pulling me, jogging me around. That was important for what I am today. And I'm eternally grateful and thankful. It is my time now to pass that on
Yes.
to the persons that are around today.
Yeah.
Not to discard and brand them and curse them out, but to, with open arms embrace them,
Yes.
show them love and respect, and point the way forward instead of backward. And that is what I want to do to the people, not just in St. Paul, but throughout Antigua and Barbuda and wherever I meet persons who need that help.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for joining us today on Your Right to Know, Our Pleasure to Tell. As we wrap up, is there anything else that you'd like to mention in the next minute or so before our program ends today?
I would just like to say that the people of Antigua and Barbuda, all those who reside here, we have an obligation and a duty and a responsibility to serve our country to the best of our ability. Do the things that are right, do the things that are wholesome. Respect the brother or sister's right to an opinion. We don't have the right to do as we please because we have to respect other people's right, as I said. I would just hope and pray that as we get closer to June 12th, that every man, woman, and those who can vote, that they will do the right and honorable thing. Don't sell your votes. Make the decision that you honestly feel that you can live with. Be reasonable and be well reasoned, because many offers that will be on the table, if you accept them, it will be to the detriment of Antigua and Barbuda. It will be to the detriment of the further development of our nation. And it could only bring hardship, and further, it could bring what we are not prepared for. And I urge people to pay their taxes.
Yes.
Those of us who make more, give more without murmur. And if this country, and I have to commend the business people, men and women, and those who have made sacrifices during the worst economic times in our history. We have weathered the storm. We are heading on a path of sustainability and the path of recovery. Let us continue to do that which we should and ought to do in the interest of all Antigua and Barbuda. I pray God's peace on each one of us as we come to June 12th. And at the end of the day, the party that wins, the mandate would have been given.
Yes. I want to thank you so much, Honorable Elston Adams, for joining us. I know that you're very busy, so we bless you and send you off, and you're off to represent St. Paul's. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
For our viewing and listening audience at home, you've been listening to our conversation. Myself, Ms. Malaika Moffett, and Honorable Elston Adams joined us today on Your Right to Know, Our Pleasure to Tell. Remember, June 12th is election date for 2014. Exercise your right and vote. Stay tuned for another segment of Your Right to Know, Our Pleasure to Tell. I am Malaika Moffett.